Minister, on another issue, you would have been briefed on a so-called liberal function menu.
Yes, I have been.
Mocks your body shape. What's your take on that? What's your response to it?
Well, I mean, this is Tony Abbott's Liberals. This is what they're like. And I think the real risk for Australia is if Mr Abbott was ever Prime Minister, it wouldn't be a question of what's on fundraising menus. We'd see this lack of respect for women littered throughout all of his government policy documents.
Well, they're not all like that, surely. I mean, Mr Abbott himself has denounced it. Mel Ruff has denounced it.
Oh, let's go through the pattern of behaviour here. Mr Abbott personally has gone and stood next to signs that describe me in a sexist way. We've had the Young Liberals hosting a function where jokes were cracked about the death of my father. And now we have Mr Brough and Mr Hockey at a function with this grossly sexist and offensive menu on display. Join the dots.
Do you think that, because Joe Hockey says he didn't see it, do you believe that he did not see it?
Well, you know, you can talk to Mr Hockey about that.
Well, no, he says he tweeted he hadn't seen it, but I'm getting the impression that you don't believe that.
I think there's a great deal of convenience in that answer for Mr Hockey.
And the same with Mr Brough, that was his function on the list.
I think there's a great deal of convenience in that answer for Mr Brough.
Is there a pattern here? You say that there's a pattern here in the Liberals, but can I ask, was that had the Labor Party been sitting on that menu, the story of that menu?
Absolutely not, no. And the first that I'm aware that this is now circulating, and isn't that interesting in and of itself, that a grossly sexist and offensive Liberal Party menu card comes out publicly, and somehow the spin is immediately that this is all Labor's fault. Well, excuse me. The first I knew about this was when it started coming to public light through Twitter, and I was briefed on it by my media staff because I knew you would ask. And the first my office knew about it was when it went out on Twitter and became the subject of public conversation.
An apology after the fact, no,
Mr Brough should be disendorsed. That's what should happen here.
Is this evidence of misogyny within the Liberal Party ranks?
Well, I've certainly been very clear on my view about Mr Abbott and his conduct and the conduct of his colleagues. Here we are, yet again, Mr Abbott saying that he condemns behaviour, but we see a pattern of behaviour. It doesn't go away. Standing next to signs that describe me offensively, Liberal Party functions that, you know, mock the death of my father, and then we see this. A pattern of behaviour, just time after time after time. And Mr Abbott's solution to this pattern of behaviour is not to show any leadership, but is effectively stood by Mr Brough. I mean, Mr Brough is retaining his endorsement. Presumably, if Mr Abbott becomes Prime Minister, Mr Brough will be a senior minister in the Abbott government. I mean, is Mr Abbott ruling out giving him the portfolio of the status of women?
Final question.
Members of your own party have expressed that they're uncomfortable with you putting abortion on the pre-election agenda. Was that a misstep yesterday to make those remarks?
I was in Parliament. I'm aware that Mr Jones and Mr Husick have had something to say about this. There's a difference here, I think. Neither Mr Jones nor Mr Husick were in Parliament when Liberal Party women rebelled when Tony Abbott was Health Minister. So concerned were they about the attitude that he was taking to RU 486. Well, I was in Parliament. I was Shadow Health Minister. I saw those Liberal women rebel against Tony Abbott as Health Minister, and consequently I think Mr Abbott's conduct at that time and the fact that women in his own political party felt the need to rebel just tells you something about Mr Abbott's attitudes. Now, Mr Jones and Mr Husick weren't there at the time. I was.